Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to topic 4 of our course SCE 548 Industrial Internet of Things. In this topic, we will be covering securing industrial control systems. These slides were adapted from the work of Dr. Fizan and Dr. Mustafa Al-Shafi and customized for this section. And our reference is the chapter 5 of the book Hands-on Industrial Internet of Things by Venry and Capasso. So let's begin. Let's begin with the quick overview of the topic. We will follow a structured path that builds upon the understanding step by step. First, we will look at uh, the DID, Defense in Depth Strategy. This is the foundational concept in foundational concept in the ICS security. Basically, this is usually called cybersecurity. And basically, in this approach, we apply layered defense strategy. Right. Then we will focus on firewalls in the next video. And in the firewalls, we will discuss how they are applied in the control networks and the different classes of firewalls which are used in the in industrial environment. Next, we will examine we will discuss the segregation architecture, the network segregation architecture, which are essential in preventing the lateral movement of the threats. Okay, so this is to deal with the lateral movement of threats. Okay, basically to prevent that the threats should move in the lateral. We will also discuss single firewall segregation and use of something called DMZ. This is also called demilitarized zone, DMZ. Finally, we will dive into the core technology of IIoT security. And in IIoT, the data is very crucial. So we will see how to secure. In this section, we will discuss how to secure data flow. Okay, from edge to cloud or enterprise. Right. So we will review different architectures. At least we are going to review these 3 architectures. Right. And in this we will see how the edge is connected to the controllers or OPC server or the OPC server that is running on the controller. So with this structure in mind, let's start. And my plan is to make one video for each section. So let's start the first video, DID. Okay. So now let's talk about the foundation of our discussion, which is about securing the control network. We should keep in mind that it is the cybersecurity is just no longer a technical concern. It's a hot topic, and the core thing is that The cybersecurity is important because it is important because it is important because of economic, political, and even some social implications, especially for the critical infrastructure, okay, like power and others, okay, in critical infrastructures. So today, companies are being compelled to evaluate their risks uh, and identify the vulnerability of their assets. So based on the risk level and the potential economic impact, they must then set priorities. And based on the priorities, they define a proactive. They need to define the companies have to define a pro, proactive defense strategy. So so the goal of our study here is to explore how we can architecturally s- uh, uh, architecturally segregate the industrial control network, uh, and more importantly, how to secure the data flow in the IoT environment, right? Okay, so one of the most effective strategy is the most effective strategy is most effective strategy is called DID, and this DID is not a single layer. DID is it's not a single layer, but it is like a multiple layers. Okay, it's a multi-layer. DID is basically what it is. It is a multi-layer approach. Okay, and it the main three categories. It combines basically the three categories: the people, the technology, and the operating methods or the procedures. And these are designed to provide redundant and resilience. Okay. Okay. So the main idea is very simple and powerful. We should not don't power. The simple idea is simple idea. Simple idea is that don't don't just rely on one line of defense. Instead, implement multiple layers. Okay, instead implement multiple layers so that even if one is breached, the others protect the system. Okay, I should write it instead. Instead, implement multiple layers. Okay, right. So let's dive deeper into the concept of this DID, defense in depth. The idea is pretty like intuitive. It's harder for an attacker to break through uh, multiple defense systems. So it makes complicated scenario for the intruders than one. So think of it like if we have castle, so there are walls, moats, guards, and guests. So not just one fence. So it is a multi-fence. It is like a multi-fence, multi-fence, yeah, system. Okay. So this layered concept. So basically, what is this? This is a layered concept. Okay. So this layered concept enables companies to implement a comprehensive. So since it is a layered concept, so it makes sure that whatever the technology is, we have a comprehensive security. We can write DID helps comprehensive security strategy. Okay, so it blends basically, and it blends. Uh, the first thing it blends is technology. It blends the operation, and also it blends the organizational approach. Okay, we can say that organizational approach. Okay, and these are all tailored. These are all tailored to a specific sort of risks. Okay, so it is that's why every company has its own. So every organization has its own strategy for this. Uh, it is also important to recognize the law of diminishing returns. So extreme security is the extreme security has some issues. So there are some challenges if we increase too much security. So that may increase the complexity as well as and the cost without any guarantee of the performance and the results. Okay, because the results come because the performance. And when you make more restrictions, the performance may go down. Okay, so there is a kind of a trade-off of between what? Trade-off between security measures uh, and also the performance. Okay, so we have to be careful about this. And also the cost goes high, the complexity goes high because of all these extra precautionary layers. So what we talk about is we have to have a optimal trade-off, and this is very interesting topic. Achieving optimal uh, trade-off uh, for to achieve a balance between the risk and also the performance or the benefits, or you can call profits. Okay, so in practice, this balance determines the level of security an organization should aim for. And again, DID is structured around the main three elements: people, technology, and operating methods, and all of which work together to provide the resilience. Okay. So now we will explore one by one. So the first thing is the first and the most important layer, defense layer of the defense in depth people. In any organization, cybersecurity should not be just left to the ID guys, IT staff. It must be the top level people, top level responsibility, that involves our senior management. And these are the leaders who are going to take. They must. They should understand the cyber risk. Okay, so they understand the cyber risk and threats, and then they are the ones who are going to make a proper uh, procedure or the decision making. And this awareness enables them to take critical actions, right? So the awareness is very good. Exactly, they should know, the top management should know very well, and then they are going to make, because top management is, if they are aware properly, then they can take the critical decisions or actions. Okay. So now when it comes to the action, this includes different steps. So for example, the first one is about the issuing policies. This is issuing policy basically is the one um, how the organization, how the company or organization is going to addresses the cyber threats. Okay, cyber security. Then the second thing is the defining the procedures. This procedure is basically to tell how to respond, how to respond to threats and incidents. Then comes another very important aspect, which is the training of the person's personnel on regularly. Okay, so that they have for their good, for good uh, cyber security practices. Okay, and so assigning roles and the responsibilities regularly comes to the training of these personals. And finally, the enforcing the physical security protocols and measures that protect the infrastructure from the physical tampering. Okay, so this is important to protect um, protect the infrastructure, sure, from physical tam. Okay, so ultimately, we have to be aware that the people, you can say that the ultimately people are both. Okay, they can be either the weakest link, or they can be the strongest defense. Okay, depending on how well they are informed. And by the way, it's not about the bad guys or good guys. It's all about this happens because, only because, or depending on, because, or depending on how well they are informed, trained, and also empowered. Okay, so this is the first layer, very important. Now let's move to the second pillar, which is the technology. It is often that whenever it comes to the cybersecurity, this is the first thing that we think of. as a cybersecurity. But in DID approach, the technology comes second. Technology is one of the layer. It focuses on setting up the multi-level approach, and in the broader perspective, and its mechanism is simple. In basically what we want is we should be we should be able to detect, and then we should be able to prevent, and then we should be able to respond to cyber intrusions. Okay. So this multi-layer approach should be able to do this. Some of the most common technological components for these are listed here. So one of them is, for example, the firewalls, the first one, and they basically act as what you call the gatekeepers for the network traffic. Second comes the antivirus or anti-spyware software, and this actually helps to it's like an AI sort of thing. It basically helps to detect any malicious code. Next, we have IDS and IPS systems. IDS is the intrusion detection system, and IPS is the intrusion prevention systems. They actually basically monitor and respond to suspicious activity and can be integrated with the firewalls or operate as a standalone independent system. Next, we have the cryptographic technique, and this includes the encryption, for example, and which prevents it 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 helps to prevent or protect. It helps to protect the data which is uh, uh, which is moving, for example, moving or at rest. Okay, like I mean by moving I mean the transferring. Okay, and also we have to define the access rules. So these are the rules which are very important to rules to access something. So this helps to prevents uh, unauthorized authorized unauthorized entry. Okay, so this is a unauthorized access, and then there is a hierarchical password systems along with the file integrity monitoring tools. So these tools are, when implemented properly, create a robust. So when all of these tools, these tools, when implemented, when implemented properly, they create a robust technological defense. So here's um, a reference for more details to this topic. Now, let's talk about the third and final pillar of DID, the defense in depth, which is operating modes and procedures. While technology and people set up the defenses, it's the daily routine. Uh, it is the daily routine after setting the technology and people, and also the procedural discipline, and that determines whether those defenses hold or not. So everyone in the organization must operate in line with the DID principles, and so that means to follow this, it means we have to have continuously applying the security updates and ensuring the antivirus tools are all current, and then uh, maintaining and reviewing the access ACL, access control list, and we can properly define who can access properly, define the rules and who can access what, and then conducting a sort of a regular assessment of the systems, including the vulnerability and test and the monitoring and other activities. So taking a quick action when someone looks something suspicious, they have to be. And finally, planning for the disaster recovery and business continuity. Because no matter how strong the system or the defense is, uh, the resilience matter. Okay, so it's not about how strong you are. The main thing is the resilience. Resilience. I'm sorry. Sometimes when I'm writing, so it hangs. Resilience matters, and when something goes wrong. Okay, so you have to be strong. But yeah, strong SDR. Okay, so these what we have shown, what we have seen is all these are operational practices, and they bring the whole defensive strategy to that bring the uh, the strategy to life. Okay, defense strategy to life. Okay, so they bring the strategy to life by ensuring the protection are not just designed but also maintained, tested, and improved over the time. Okay, so the further 2 points I would like to add is they help us to maintain, maintain. They also help us to test, keep it tested, and also they help us to keep it improved over time. Right. Right. So now that we have covered the basic components of the DID, now let's see how it applies to and its role in the industrial control system environment. So in the past, basically the ICS environments were considered very safe and hack proof because they were mainly the isolated because of the separation. Okay. So they were isolated before ICS systems were isolated from IT, right? IT networks, IT networks, yeah, and also protected physically. So the most attacks targeted IT systems, not the industrial machines. But with the convergence of IT and OT, operational technology, or ICS architecture, sometimes we also call this as OT. OT stands for operational technology. Okay. So, but with this convergence of the IT and OT and increasing need of collection of the data, collection of the data and use it for using the data for the analysis at the effective floor. So these are the two things that now we need. We need data plus analysis. Okay, for ICS now. Now the things are interconnected and now it is exposed. Okay, so now ICS is connected with IT. So what makes it exposed? So the ICS data plus equipment is exposed to any network or the world. Okay. So that's why IDID is more important than ever before for the ICS. And remember, it's not just one tool or technique. It's a combination of people, technology, and operating procedures. So applying DID in ICS make it like harder to break in, easier to detect the intrusion, and more effectively in responding to the threats. So main goal so the main goal is to minimize the attack opportunities and limit the damage, and also force the attackers to give up, because every additional barrier makes success less likely. Okay, so if you add more layers, it is like more hurdles, more problems for the more difficult for the attackers. Right. So this is the last slide in this video recording. So what does defense in depth actually look like is in the ICS environment is multi-layer. So we will go through the key areas where the organizations must apply the layered security measures. So let's briefly go through it. The first thing is the risk management. So starting by uh, identifying the threats and uh, also the level of the risk, and also we need to maintain a very clear asset inventory. So this is the first thing that we start with. The second thing comes is the cybersecurity architecture, and this includes that what kind of standards we should adapt, and the what kind of policies should be enforced. Then the physical security about the field devices, they should be should be logged properly. They should be logged, and the physical access should be strictly controlled. Then comes the ICS network architecture. We have to define the zoned architectures, the DMZ demilitarized zones, and virtual LANs to segment and isolate. These are important to sort of like to segment and isolate, isolate the critical systems. This is important. Then we have the parameter security. This is where we implement like firewalls and access control and authorization strategies. Next, we have the host security. We have to ensure that all the field and virtual systems are properly patched, updated, and that all the access property, the policies are in place. And then we have the security monitoring, some intrusion detection tools. We also call them IDS. Intrusion detection tools are in place, the emit logging and the real-time monitoring for the possible attacks. And also it is important to have a vendor management system which make sure that The third party outsourcing and cloud integration risks are all properly tackled and defined. And finally, the most important one is the human element. So uh, no DID strategy is complete without properly trained staff. Also, the clear procedures and the policy enforcement. Okay, so all of these layers work together to ensure. So, what is the benefit? Now, all of these layers, all of these layers work together to ensure resilience, visibility, and control in securing our ICS environment. All right. Okay, thank you. So I will stop this video here, and the next topic will be in the next video recording. Thank you very much.